Hey, we're live right now, and I'm not ready yet. Imagine that. It's the beginning of the show.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King! Your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Everybody, I am John Taman, and we are here today, gathered today because of something that is very important that happened today. We're going to discuss it. We're going to break it down. Of course, you all know the gigantic news of what I'm talking about here in Commander's Land. Nothing fucking happened today. So breaking it down is my friend Jesse Martin over there, who's going to be we're having to do this show today. This is our draft preview because tomorrow, Jesse, what is it you're doing tomorrow at 5:00 when we would normally be doing this show?
Oh yeah, I'm going to my stylist and getting a little trim and maybe my beard layered, getting my hair coiffed.
Coiffed. This is how you know he's from Southeast Virginia. I got my hair coiffed.
Listen, the funny thing about this guy literally rides a Harley Davidson. He lives the roughneck, Harley bike life.
Yeah.
Blue collar.
And this man literally texts us talking about, I'm going to my hairstylist.
He's getting a mani-pedi.
And getting my beard layered. Like, that is the biggest metrosexual thing I've ever heard this man say.
Especially when you consider next week we can't do a show because he's going to be on vacation, which means he's going to be out riding those bikes, and that layered and gorgeous beard is going to be so full of fucking bugs by the time he gets anywhere. Right.
So I was, embellishing the layered part of it. But, when my mom, I was tired of going to hair cuttery and them just fucking everything up, So my mom was like, well, go to my girl, Katie. She's awesome. She's been my mom's been going to her for years, and she gives the best shampoo, like the massage that she gives, the head massage that she gives.
The happy ending.
It's worth it.
So I got a confession to make.
Go ahead. Let's hear your confession. By the way, everybody, this voice who you're not used to hearing is indeed Gray, who is sweaty and smelly in from cutting the grass out behind his lovely house in New Jersey. How are you today?
And I'm not even done yet. I got to go back out there when I'm done here. Anyways, because I made a commitment. You guys, I really needed to save the ratings of this show, to be honest with you. So here I am.
Thank God. Here he is.
No. Anyways, I have a confession to make. So I was going to hair cuttery because my wife recommended this nice young lady. And she, after COVID, was no longer working there anymore. So she has a little salon out of her basement. So I go get my haircuts done in a basement. From a hairstylist too. Yeah.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
Well, hey, I tell you what,
if they do it right, they do it right.
And that's what I'm saying. I got to keep her, man. She's the only one that can really cut my hair. I mean, she messes up here and there like this. I went and got a little cleanup because I got a thing going on this weekend, and then I got the draft next week. So I got a little cleanup. She took a little bit, too much over here, but it is what it is. It'll grow back.
Yeah,
at least this show is obviously not sponsored by hair cuttery. Trashing all over there. But
Did you catch that,
to get your hair cut in the basement's not too bad, especially if you got to pay Benito $50 up front, then you get to pick the girl. Right now, Jesse says, "What's your girl's name?"
Katie.
No, I'm gonna say
mine's Kelsey.
On that. Jesse's girl's name is Armando, and I'm going with that. My goodness, Mr. Martin, we've got to layer your beard.
No, but she does a good job trimming it up, though. She definitely does. I'm probably her only male client. I'm pretty sure I am.
They all start giggling when he
the first time I went to her, though. I mean, that was when my shit was like out like really big, and she worked wonders with it. I think. I mean, it's nasty now. I got dust and all that stuff in it right now, but I'll be looking like I'm going to bike week next week, so I need to get a little.
Wait a minute. Bike week where? Daytona?
Outer Banks bike week. Yeah, Daytona was
March, right?
Last month.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, whoa, wait a minute, did it change and I didn't know about it?
No, they have multiple bike weeks up and down everywhere.
Sure.
Now, here's what I want to see. Keith, move back up to where you were just a second ago. Sit back up a second ago. No, you don't try. There you go. There it is. Now look. You see how it covers up his hair up at the top? Look how bulby his head is. Look at him. Seriously, he looks like a tulip that hasn't quite opened up yet.
And you see this here, right here? You see
I
this
see
right
that.
here? Shut up, John. It's white and then red down. It's because I wear my
Right.
hats backwards in the sun. It's
Well,
okay.
I mean, dude, I would expect nothing less than you wear your hats backwards. And if I come walking by, dude, he's going to stop the fucking lawnmower, take a swig of his White Claw and go, bro. And I'm going to say, yo, bro. Now, of course, I get my hair done. My haircut cost me $175. They do each hair individually. It takes about 3.5 hours. All right.
So stupid.
Anyway, this is a football show. Welcome to it, everybody. We're going to talk about the draft right now. And I guarantee you this. Keith, how much do you know about the draft?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, that makes two of us. So go ahead, Jesse. What do you got to say?
As long as we don't draft a running back or a tight end in the first round, I think I'll be happy.
I mean, these people.
So wait a minute. Hold on a second, sir. Whoa. Let's back this up. I didn't hear a running back or Bijan in that statement.
He did hear a running back. You just didn't associate it with Bijan.
Yeah, I said a running back or tight end.
I didn't hear a running back.
Right. Now, I gotta say, this whole Bijan Robinson to Washington at 16 has actual legs that are being reported by other. I mean, I can't say reported, speculated on by national media. And I've got to, dude, you started that whole thing. So congratulations to you. I never heard anybody say anything that goddamn stupid at the time until you did. And now it's all over the damn place. Way to go.
Yeah, I don't know if I could take credit for starting it, but I have definitely remained strong in my Bijan wants and needs and loves. So it is what it is.
I would suggest
but we have other needs. We don't need a running back. You can get a running back in the later. Shut up.
But you can.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can do lots of different things, but
I'm
I'm
I
going to go ahead and
get-
say it. We call it here on the show.
I get the intrigue of Bijan Robinson. I really, really do. And would he be great for the team? Sure, absolutely. Just need a good offensive line to block for him. Just like any other team would. Are we there yet? Is our offensive line there yet? I don't think so. I think there's some things that we need to do.
We're still drafting.
I just think that there's better ways that this team could get better itself than just drafting, the possible
The running back.
next,
Go ahead.
the next, Adrian Peterson, if that's the case. And we know how the NFL draft, values running backs nowadays. I mean, sure, would it great to have a running back of that caliber, have his rights for 5 years, possibly, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that for running backs. They don't last that long, and not say that Bijan Robinson would or wouldn't, but do you want to chance that is what I'm saying.
You take that chance with any position, really. You really do. I mean, this is the thing about the injury bug and the injury worry and everything like that. And it's cliche to say that anybody can get hurt on any play, but running backs are not the only players that take a pounding like that. I mean, offensive linemen get the shit beat out of them every single play.
They're not. But if you take all offensive linemen their average years and you take a running back average years, it's very, very lopsided.
Probably because of the bad offensive lineman in front of the running back. The thing is, I think
that might be.
Go ahead, Keith.
No,
I thought you said
so. I did. But I don't disagree with what Jesse's saying. And in fact, if we pick up a stud at a position of need, I'm not going to be mad at that. How could you? As long as he's a stud, you're going to take a risk on no matter what position, no matter what pick you pick. It's a risk. I mean, injury can, kick in. Anything can happen. We know this, but I'm definitely not against other guys in that sense. And I completely understand that this is not a running back league. Somebody sent me something on Twitter today that I didn't get into the whole thing, but the headline made a lot of sense. Is Bijan is that generational talent, He is that talent that you want, but unfortunately, it's in a league that doesn't require it anymore. And that's kind of where we stand.
But this past season, the running game had a hell of a resurgence. All right, they ran the ball more than they passed the ball. I believe they did around the league. And even though this league is set up to pass and passing scores points, running wins games, I got to believe that they're making a comeback. You see that the Cowboys, all right, they let Zeke go because he's a poster child for what you're talking about how they take a pounding. He was amazing in his first 2 seasons, and then the injuries started to hit him and he started to slow down. But they put the franchise tag on a guy who's
earning more money.
Well, yeah, right. They fucked up and they paid him.
Yeah, they paid him, but I mean, just like I said, they take a pounding and his productivity went down, and it's just. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? And how many times do we say that generational talent come out and then they get with the big boys? They get it. They get it with the big boys, and it's not always cracked up. It doesn't seem like it's always cracked up to be. So I think if your first round pick needs to be a home run, more times than not, you need to knock it out of the park. Not saying that Bijan Robinson isn't going to be what everybody thinks he's going to be. I'm not saying that. I just think at this point in time, where this team is at the moment, isn't a good idea to draft a running back that high.
No, in fact, if he's there at 16, I seriously look at trading down immediately.
100%.
I start answering the phone at anybody. Obviously, so there's Keith right there trying to make an offer. But I would definitely at that point trade down. And I mean, if you can't find a trade partner then, and you are committed to going best player available. I mean, look, if they took Bijan Robinson at 16, I don't know that anybody's going to scream bloody murder. That is reasonable.
I'd be pretty irritated.
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy, but I don't, you're going to get at least some quality there. When you say you got to hit a home run on the first round, you're right. And I think that you would hit one with him, but I
think you said it, John. If he's sitting there at 16, there's teams behind you that wants him. You know that. I don't think he's going to make it that far. I don't think he's going to make it that far. But just seeing what
sounded like we were talking to Jimmy Irsay again.
Yeah. See what I didn't listen to the media scrum today or with the interview today with Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera. But I kind of read a little bit on Twitter that trading back is a strong possibility and sure, probably likely if they find a trade partner. So if he's sitting there at 16, I know we're going to have a lot of upset people, but I see us trading back and acquiring more picks. And I think that would be the right move, in my opinion.
Go ahead, Keith. I know you were on the phone. You had probably something to say here. You're on
mute, though.
He looks like he's frozen too. Look, if he's sitting there,
there he goes. There he goes.
Go ahead, sir. Your turn.
He went back to mute.
This is the best part I have to keep on the show.
Freeze a little bit. That's the first time it's happened in a long time.
It's 16. The alarms have to go off for trade down. That's got to be your first priority. If he's sitting there at 16, you got to trade back. And even if he's not sitting there at 16, if we take Bijan Robinson completely out of the equation, at 16, I'm strongly considering trading back anyway. Try to recoup a couple picks, man. See, maybe you can get that third rounder back that you just lost out, or you're sending over to the Colts. I know we got another one. We got one in compensation, but still,
yeah, we got
you can pull in a couple more.
Really like a fourth rounder, but yeah, no, 100%, man. I think trading back should be the number one priority. Well,
I mean, we are at the center of the first round, so I mean, it's not like that we're in the optimum spot. But some of those teams that are not used to being able to move up to the top, I guess the Patriots, they're kind of up there now. They're not the same like they aren't always either pick 31 or 32 anymore. But Philadelphia with Bijan Robinson would be quite scary. And that's a risk I think you have to take, because I would think that if you had him sitting there at 16, they're calling. Do you deal with them knowing that that's what they would do?
As well built as this defensive line is, you can't be scared of a running back, a rookie running back,
No, but it's not a matter of the running back. It's the running back plus the rest of what they do.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn down a good. I would probably have to. They'd have to kick us an extra 6th-round pick or something just because of the Philadelphia fucking Eagles.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't. I wouldn't turn it down just because it's the Eagles or just because it's the player that's going there that we have to. Can't be scared of having to face a certain player 2 times a year.
You're right. Hang on one second. I got to remember this because every time. All right, when we're doing this now, my video probably just got a little bit better, and I always have to remember to pause the syncing. My computer's constantly syncing. I got to pause my syncing when I'm doing this show. It saves on the resources. All right, so I think we did a little spot last week after our show for Rio's show about who we wanted in the first round, who we think they're going to draft in the first round. Now, we both said Joey Porter Jr. Is that who you want, or is that who you think they're going to take?
If we're not trading back, I think it's kind of both. I think that's if he's there, I think that'd be a good pick. And I mean, he's one of the top 30 visits. And yeah, I that's who I want. That's who I'd like. I'd like Joey Porter Jr.
I would too. There. I mean, I would like to take the best tackle available.
Yeah, I'm just not sure there's going to be one of those tackles available that's going to be valued right at the 16. I know there might be a couple that are in the value tracker, towards the end of the first round. That's why I'm thinking if we trade back, then we can pick up a tackle kind of in the mid 20s of the first round. I'd be all right with that. But if we're staying at 16, I could definitely see Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. I could see Devin Witherspoon. I'd like that. But yeah, I completely agree. If it's 16, if you're not 100% sold on a guy right then and there that you're targeting, like Porter or somebody like that, then yeah, you definitely trade back because it is a rich draft in these positions that we need. And I can't stand it when people say if you draft you draft to lose. Well, okay, but that's one of those
that's so ridiculous that it
cliches is just words.
That is not. Nobody outside of the top 10, they don't draft best player available. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's best player available at a position of need. That's how it goes right now.
You have
and that's it, because everybody's board's different. Every coaching staff and scout, it's not best player available. It's just not. It's just the NFL doesn't work like that and hasn't in a while. But people fail to realize that.
Right. I think fans fail to realize that. But if a team did operate that way, where that's their goal, no matter what, best guy on the board is theirs when it comes up, they end up lopsided, or they end up completely with gigantic holes.
I mean, look, listen, the monster tackle out of Georgia, say he falls to 16. We're not picking him. Sorry, that's just not happening.
Right
no, the defensive defensive tackle. I forgot his name. He's
oh my god! No. If we took
one of the best players, it's just not happening. I mean, think about it. It's not going to happen. So everybody just falls all over. The best player, no matter what. It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't.
Mm-hmm. So while you were getting your computer fixed up and getting yourself back together, Keith, we were talking about how Bijan Robinson he got caught with a pair of women's underwear in the locker room. And we think that's probably not the kind of character that we want to bring onto the Commanders right now after all the stuff that's been going on. Do you have any comment about that?
Yeah, no, you're full of shit. That's what.
All right, Keith. So we were just talking about it. Who do you want? Who do you think the team's going to take? I think we know who you want at 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bijan Robinson, I would definitely take if he was there. I wouldn't hate a DB, to be honest. Deontay Banks' name seems to be floating around from Maryland. I wouldn't hate the idea of that, but I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really have a the because I like offense. backs. I think I've made that very clear. I'd like that game come back. So I'm distancing Deontay Banks.
Oh man! All right.
What do you mean? I remember Deontay Banks.
Deontay Banks. I mean, he the cornerback from Maryland. He'd be a fine pick. I think 16 might be.
Did you lose me?
You were just breaking up just a little bit.
You're kind of choppy.
Yeah.
The video's not so good, but I can hear you.
I definitely think he would be one of those if they wound up trading back to the low 20s, somewhere around 22, 24, somewhere right around there. They could definitely target Deontay Banks. 16 might be a little bit rich for him. But I think he'd be a good player, though. I honestly do.
He's more of a
obviously a position of need. But yeah, the thing about it with the moves that they've made in the offseason, they're not just stuck having to go must get an offensive line at 16. They can.
They are still tackle light. We need to. Unless
sure.
we're looking at Leno again. That's a big ask.
And that's I think Leno, if he comes back healthy, I think he still has some quality play left in him.
That's a young quarterback back there. That's one thing that's good about that is that he can move around a little bit.
Yeah,
but I'd rather not see him get crushed, destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, if Leno comes back healthy, I think he might be all right. And that's, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? The real question right now is center. What we're going to do at center. What's going to happen with Chase Roulier? Since we only have $2 million right now in a salary cap, Chase has got to. That's just.
There's two June 1st cuts right there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know a lot of people are expecting Roulier to come back, but the signing of Gates and re-signing Larson the writing is kind of on the wall right there. Probably going to pick up another center in the draft, 3rd, 4th, 5th round or something like that.
6th round, 7th round.
That'd be could too. But in the past few years, our history of centers and getting injuries, that's we need at least 3 on this roster at the very, very least. Beginning of the training camp, because things do happen to centers on this team.
On this team, for sure. By the basketful. But yeah, I would expect to see interior offensive linemen. I'd probably expect coming out of the draft after post-draft pickups and the draft itself at least 3. Whether they're guards or centers, they're probably going to be, how Ron likes his position flex. So it'll probably be guys that can play either or. But I certainly expect at least 3 young big boys, maybe even more. We might even sign 3 of them, after the draft. So just to fill up camp and fill up bodies, because we go through them like crazy, man. So I'm thinking of this. Joey Porter Jr. He's coming to. If we do pick him, we said this in that little 30-second thing. I would be very happy because, 3 reasons. Number one, I think he's a high quality player. I've heard people say that he's this kind of corner and not that kind of corner, and whatever. He's coming out of college. You can train him to be what kind of corner he is. He's not 5 years on the system in the NFL trying to do one thing. He's young. All right, you can move him to what you want him to be. Number 2, he comes from Penn State. All right, I think we've done okay other than Troy Apke with Penn State. Penn State puts out quality players, puts out quality pros, especially defensive backs lately. I really like what they've been able to do. I've been watching Joey Porter Jr. because as anybody who listens to this for the last 20 years knows I like Penn State. All right, and I've been watching. The guy can play. He can freaking play his ass off. And with Joey Porter Jr. comes Joey Porter Sr. Hello, Keith. Boy, you look different. Welcome, Scott. There's our friend Scotty from Barrow and Furnace, UK. You just finished the 1 Point Safety show, I assume. You're all.
I have, yeah.
There you go. How about that? Plug your show for him. How about that?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It was great that we had Jesse on last week, and Jesse, our highest viewership ever. So fair play. Well done.
Candy, your stylist tuned in. So you missed.
It was all Indian scammers.
Katie.
Katie is going to have Jesse's head under the hair dryer tomorrow for over an hour to try to get his hair just right. My dog is fucking with me. So anyway, so we've been talking all kinds of draft shit, and I guess we can recap a little bit right now. Scotty, if you had to pick right now who you wanted on draft day, who do you want, and who do you think they're going to pick? Or what do you think they'll do at 16?
At 16, I don't think they'll stay at 16. I think they'll trade back into the 20s. For me, if I was to stay at 16 and it was my pick, I'd love Christian Gonzalez. If I can't, out of Oregon, cornerback there. I think they'll go offensive line, and I think we will see Darnell Wright as a tackle, someone like that will turn up, or maybe, depending on how the board sits, maybe it's Anton Harrison, someone like that.
We went and got your replacement, Keith. Sorry.
Well, thank God Scotty's here, because I mean, my
in the afternoon.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is. I had to restart everything.
Oh, it sounds better now. You're not trying.
I have multiple because I also had multiple things going on in the background too.
That shit happens.
Nowadays, everything's attached to Wi-Fi anyway. So if you make a piece of toast, your fucking toaster goes online and says, "I think he likes his toast slightly coffee brown."
I think it doesn't help either that I stream this off of my Microsoft Surface tablet, but it's what I have to work with, gentlemen.
So first couple of rounds, let's we hit about on picks that we think they should take with first round picks. Move it to the second round. I think in my opinion, I think either you go O-line first round and in second round defensive back, or vice versa, defensive back first round, offensive line second round. Is everybody pretty much in agreement? I know Keith, if Bijan Robinson is there, I'm talking, he wants Bijan, and I understand the intrigue on it. But as far as what this team, I wouldn't be mad though. Yeah, as far as what this team, their primary needs are, okay, and not saying that we don't need another running back. I just don't think
we draft 12 wins. That's what we need.
Yeah, obviously. But coming down, get some filler spots, and really what this front office has done is really drafted some good players in the back end of the draft.
Sure. They've ruled the back end of the draft.
Not to point out a player, an individual player, but what position groups do you think they ought to target? Besides the offensive line and defensive back, my first thought is trying to get a linebacker in the third or fourth round.
Mm-hmm. They don't know what a linebacker is. By the way, what do you think of this guy Yasmin Davis?
Did everybody see that
video?
We're talking John saw it. What's his name? Chris Sims. He's going about talking about the linebackers that's been drafted in the first round for the past 5 or 6 years or so.
Right.
He comes down in 2021 and he said Yasmin Davis.
Because not only did they
Jamin.
Yeah.
He said Yasmin, but on the freaking thing he's looking at, the colored thing on the fucking screen, his name is spelled Jasmine.
Okay.
It is. It's spelled Jasmine, and he tried to be smart about it. Well, it must be Yasmin. It can't be Jasmine. No, stupid. It's Jamin. And this just shows you, anybody out there, I'm going to have to do this. Hang on a minute. We got to do this at least once today. So all of you, hang on, I got to fix this up. Every one of you. Foot pass. Attaboy. Oh, wrong one.
Sit down and shut the fuck up. Shut up! Shut up! Sit the fuck down and shut up! Shut up and sit down. Will you shut up? Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
The next time any one of you tells me anything about a fucking expert on fucking television and what this expert said, they don't know jack fuck dick all. I'm telling you right now, Chris Sims is indicative of all of them. He doesn't even know who Jamin Davis is. He can't even read his name, and neither can the people at ESPN that are making the graphic to put up there in front of him. By the way, if you ever need an idea of Chris Sims and you don't know who I'm talking about, here's what you do. If you put a suit on my dick, it looks like him.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you what, you put a little hairstyle like Scotty's got on top of it, and we're set to go.
Yeah. I do see the resemblance with Scotty and Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
His hair, anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
Says the man with a beard like a homeless dude out the back of a 7-Eleven. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, I can't talk
He's
too
getting
much.
that beard layered, baby. Are you talking
It is. It's a flourishing beard. Flourishing is the word.
I just put a bunch of product in my beard.
Yeah.
Keith's got into his kitchen by the looks of it. He's just chilling.
No, Keith's chair is broken. He can't get the thing to sit up front. That's all.
I definitely would like to see a linebacker in the 3rd or 4th round. Keith, what about you?
I'm telling you what is perfect. I would like to see a linebacker in at least the 3rd round because I still think we need a sideline to sideline thumper. As much as Yasmin Davis has been improving, I still think we're weak at the position. And they don't value them. So I have no faith that that's what they're going to do. If they're going to pick a linebacker, they're going to pick one that plays special teams, and it's going to be like round 5 on.
Yeah, fourth or 5th round. Dayon Henley's been talked about a bit from Washington State. He's got a lot of high upside, but he can be found out occasionally, reaching side to side. So if you want that off the ball linebacker who's going to rush the quarterback, that's probably your guy. And I'd like to see Jamin Davis actually in that position. I think if we're going to see what he's got next year, I want to see him kind of share the green dot, possibly with Cody Barton, who's just come in, because I think he's likely to play the mic. And I'd like to see Jamin probably rushing the quarterback a bit more.
I agree. But we are going to have to insist that we use the official spelling and pronunciation of Yasmin now that Chris Sims has set us all straight. I would think that it would not shock me if we saw an edge in like the 3rd or 4th round. It wouldn't shock me at all if they went for a pass rusher or somebody that can play the outside like that. Outside of Chase Young, which is still kind of up in the air, they're kind of light there. They paid F.A. Obata a little bit, brought him back. But Smith Williams, I know y'all, he's a solid guy, I guess, but to me, it's not so solid.
I saw Mark Tyler put something out on Twitter this morning that Smith Williams was also top 15 in pressures and also run stops as well, tackle for loss. So even though that he's not a big sack guy, but
you don't see it.
I mean, none of our defensive ends are big sack guys. Let's face it. We haven't put up a lot of sacks.
There's no Tamarick Hemingway there, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and like I said last week, I just don't think this defense is really predicated on the defensive ends having to get home. Put up 15. Having a defensive end having to put up 15 sacks a game. You have your monster defensive tackles in Allen and Payne. So maybe we don't have to have the 2 greatest defensive ends playing on this team. So
but you got first round picks invested in them. And I mean, granted, the one that we traded up to go back and get because freaking Jay was so pissed off. Like, wasn't it Brandon Sheriff that we picked at the same time? He didn't like. Oh no, that was when we picked Dwayne Haskins. He didn't like that, so he went back up and got Montez Sweat. And we've got a number 2 overall in Chase. I think this defense better be predicated on the pass rush because the back end of it has proven to be somewhat of a sieve anymore. I mean, it's not. Put it this way: you can't expect to defend the pass on the back end nowadays. The rules are not set up for it. You're going to end up with more penalty yards than you end up with anything else if you try to stop the ball. The best way to stop the pass is disrupt the passer, take the timing away. And I'm really hoping this year I see Chase Young at the right defensive end position where he got Rookie of the Year, rushing 80% of the time from there, because otherwise it's like, dude, you might as well not give him the 5th-year option because you're not going to play him right. So it wouldn't shock me. I think that they could send a message at that point as to what they intend to do with Chase Young. 3rd or 4th round, 2nd day pick. I think maybe I would not be shocked to see a defensive end or an edge.
Yeah. So we got a question. We got a question in saying about talking directly about that, actually, about the defensive line and the edge rushes in particular and the interior. What do you guys see as a good year then from all of them in sack production numbers? Are you saying the limit? I mean, everyone wants 10. So are you saying that a good season is probably, I don't know, 40, 35 plus? I mean, we had the third best defense in the entire league last year. So, overall as a unit. So what do you think, in your opinion, all of you, including Keith, is a good year? Really? Is it 10 for them each? Thereabouts?
Shit, I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
That's 50 sacks right there. That's
40 really, isn't it? Yeah, not even.
Well, if you counting
true, yeah.
50. That's I think that's not really feasible, to be honest with you. It's 10 apiece. You'd like to see 7 or 8 from Allen and Payne. And maybe 11 from Sweat and 12 or 13 from Young. And I think that would be suitable. That'd be fine. I think that would be great, actually.
40 to 45 would be happy. 50 to 55.
Unbelievable, isn't
it? Based on what we've invested, 50 to 55, I think, is maybe an expectation that we could look at. I wouldn't be disappointed if we ended up with 48. Don't get me wrong. But 50 to 55, I don't see how it's not possible with this group, or at least I don't see how they didn't draft it to be possible. I think that the NFL itself, the rules, the way they're set up over the last 10 or 15, 20 years, how they've changed everything to really try to break up the passing and bring it out. Excuse me. The best way to stop it is to go get the quarterback. Go get the fucking quarterback. And I think that's what we built to do. So, yeah, I want to see upwards of 45. What about you, Keith? What would be a good sack season for you out of our defensive line? And I'm not talking about, the occasional sack from Curl or from Jamin Davis coming in. I want out of my defensive linemen over 45.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
You want over 45 sacks?
That's what I want out of my defensive line. Yes. Oh, look at him shaking his head at me.
I think,
guys, I'd love to. I can't.
I know. Yeah, I understand.
All right, man.
So, Jesse, what do you think? Am I out of line there?
I mean, I think that's reaching a little bit high. I think 40 is a good number. Yeah, I think 40 would be fine, to be honest with you, out of the defensive line. 40 would be good. I mean, that's averaging out of your big four. That's averaging 10 apiece.
Yeah.
I'd
be very happy.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to get that high. I just don't think there's enough plays out there to be made to get that high from any defensive line.
If we ended up with 35 out of that group, man, I'd be pissed. That would be unacceptable to me.
I mean, just think about it.
That's 9 apiece. That's an average of 9 apiece.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good, to be honest with you. 9 sacks from your 2 interior defensive linemen, and then 9 sacks. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I want better. I think that I should not be right. This is what you drafted for. This is what you went after. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see a bunch of run stoppers out there. Fuck all that. Go get the quarterback.
Out of the 27 players that this team has brought in for the top 30 visits, we have Miles Murphy, a defensive end. And that's it.
I don't like alliteration.
That's all of the players out of the top 30 that they brought in. They brought in 1 defensive end for a top 30 visit. Now,
it's funny though, Jesse, because you've got to remember that we didn't even interview at the combine Jahan Dotson. We didn't take him on the 30 visit. Nothing. No one knew that was going to happen.
Well, so let's be honest. They I think they were going what they wanted. The kid out of USC, really, but Drake London, and the plans kind of got iffy. But I think we came out on the better end of that.
Yeah, that was the day when he was in his burgundy suit.
Drake London expected to come.
Speculation, man.
He had a burgundy suit on.
I know.
He was so pissed off when he got drafted by the Falcons. I'm glad we didn't draft him. And
would you want to live in Atlanta?
I mean, probably not. But I don't think I'd want to live in Ashburn either, to be honest with you.
No, I wouldn't want to live in Ashburn.
But,
okay, so defensive lineman, 35 sacks, I'd be upset. 45 sacks, I'd be ecstatically happy. 40, I guess I could live with that. But I think we're built to do a little bit better than that.
I can definitely live with 40. I'd be happy at 40 sacks.
Yeah, I would be too. 40 is a good benchmark, I think. I think that's where you need to be.
That's
your first ladder rung, I think. That's what I think. That's the rung you got to get on. Otherwise, it's really been a failure season. Far as I'm concerned out of that defense. All right, so what about this quarterback?
We had 38 sacks last year, and our defense played pretty damn good.
They did play pretty doggone good, and I'll tell you what, Chase Young didn't get even started until the midpoint of the season, or after the midpoint of the season.
Well, he played
I just think we had an unbelievably great year out of Payne and Allen.
And I don't expect it to be that much worse than last year. I think a lot of people, Daniel Kelly, coming out this wannabe GM ex quote unquote scout saying that Daron Payne's going to be a bust now that he got paid. I just don't see that. I don't see that whatsoever, man.
I think that people are so fucking cynical that they goddamn equate how these people in this profession are to the people that work next to them at the fucking fry station at McDonald's. No, those are little hunks of shit people that don't give a shit about their job. These guys are career men that have started this career in high school or below.
Yeah.
And I honestly, these people that also think that, it's a contract year, he turned it on. You don't turn off that kind of talent. You just don't say, okay, well, this year I'm going to go out from the defensive tackle position and fucking bust ass for 10.5 sacks.
He goes out. Players, man. Listen, and players, they go out and play, and you can get better and better every year. Each year you can get better, and that's what there were some little things here and there, and even Daron came out and said it himself. He just wasn't quite finishing. But he worked on it. Exactly. He worked on it. And, even though he got paid, he can still get more money because the better he plays, the more endorsements that he's going to get. And a lot of people don't understand that,
Pizza Bowlies is calling.
And the whole Lamar Jackson not having an agent, he's leaving so much fucking money out on the table because he is so good, not even just from the NFL contract, but contracts he can get from signing different sponsors. That shit. There's so much more money than just your NFL paycheck. Okay.
But look at Orlando Brown Jr. Classic example. We talked about it before. He has left so much money on the table. He fumbled the bag big time. You know what I mean? Going from the Chiefs were willing to make him the highest paid left tackle in football, and he signed for a lesser deal. Signed for a lesser deal with the Bengals, and I'm like,
it's Laramie Tunsil. Who represents himself?
Yeah,
that motherfucker represents himself. He represents himself. Damn, I can't even say that, but he gets in there for himself. So he does a pretty good job. He kind of shoots that down.
So I want to talk about.
I brought this up.
I just want to say I wanted to talk about some of the players that they brought in for the top 30 visits, and Hendon Hooker was actually the one I wanted to talk about the most.
Yeah. Right.
What do you guys think about this? The guy's 25 years old. He's coming off a major injury, but for that major injury, he was playing so fucking good. We brought him in for a visit. People were a lot of analysts were saying that maybe second, third round, but now they're saying very well could go in the first round. Is this just talk? Is it do you think Washington is really considering this guy? And would you be okay? Would you be okay with them drafting it?
Jesse, I think there's something in there. You don't take a player out to dinner the night before. I mean, the last time someone got took out to dinner by this coaching staff, they became our offensive coordinator, assistant head coach.
True.
This is it's not something you do. There is clear interest there. I do think there is interest there, but from all the noises that you're hearing, we are all in on Sam Howell. I don't think you would bring someone in like Jacoby Brissett to sit behind him and just be like, well, he's our insurance policy if it all goes wrong with Sam Howell. I think at 25, he's on the older side of the prospect, coming out of college. Very, very good. Not denying the guy's talent at all. As you said, major injury, probably won't even be available until November, December time. And where are we going to be at that point? And then the other question I would have on that as well is the offensive scheme that he plays in Tennessee is probably the most friendly offensive scheme towards a quarterback in the whole of college football. You know, I've looked into it. I've watched his tape. I've looked at what he's done. And yeah, there is clear interest there. I wouldn't be mad about it. I would be mad about it if we took him in the second round.
Yeah.
I think if you're going into the third and he falls that far, then yeah, I think that's a good shout. I'm of the opinion that you always take quarterback irrespective of whether you've got the guy or not, because you need the next guy coming behind you, or until you find that guy.
You take one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm of that ilk. But too early. We've got bigger needs in this team, as we've talked about before. Offensive tackle, offensive line, into it, like left guard. Center's a big need as well, actually, when we think about it, because all of our centers are hobbling, you know, to try and get a full season.
Even the one we signed is coming off an injury.
Correct. And then you've got the back end as well. Cornerback is a big need as well.
Right.
And we don't. And then we just spent 10 minutes talking about the defensive end position. You know, we need to replace someone.
Eventually, it is going to be a need. You're absolutely right.
I think DE is probably further down on the list. I mean, Hooker to me, if we took him in the third, I probably wouldn't be terribly happy with that either. Beyond the third, absolutely. Then it's a luxury pick. And you're right. He's not going to be healthy to be able to do anything yet. So he's an experiment.
John, if you trade back though, and you get an extra third rounder, would you take him then?
Then you're talking. Yeah, you got an opportunity there. And I mean, you better have to like him, because
I bet I would be shocked.
Shocked?
I think I don't think he's making it out of the second. It would not shock me one bit. It would not shock me one bit if he gets drafted in the first round by somebody in the back.
For me, he looks like your typical Tampa Bay Buccaneers player, unless they trade up.
That's
third.
That's the guy. That's the team right there that should very well be targeting a player like Hendon Hooker
in the second round as well. Early second round, they may trade up into the second round, higher up. I don't know where they pick in the second round, but they may trade higher up into the second round to get him. So you're really around that. He's definitely, for me, a top 50 player. I think he's in the top 50.
I would not hate the pick. I wouldn't like it in the first round at all.
No chance.
Not for us.
But if we somehow traded back, picked up some extra picks, packaged something to get into the back end of the second round, I would be okay with that.
All right, I've been working on an impression. This is my impression of Baker Mayfield when the Buccaneers draft Hendon Hooker. Fuck! What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ! I just put money down on an apartment.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Keith, what do you think of Hendon Hooker?
Who knows?
He's a hooker, so you know.
Hooker helped me with my Wi-Fi.
He might be able to, and with your talent, you might.
You're good. We can hear you. We can hear you. You're good now.
I know, but see, the problem is it starts off this way, and then boom, it just slows, and then everything stops, and then you guys cut out. I've tested every other site, everything. It's StreamYard that's killing me here. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you going through Google? Are you going through Google Chrome?
Yeah.
Try Edge. That might help you. Edge is different with certain things for some reason. I like Chrome myself, but I use Edge for certain things and with work, but that I won't use Chrome for. Anyway, all right. So we were discussing the potential of taking a quarterback deeper in the draft. Now, Hendon Hooker is a Tennessee quarterback whose name has been attached to us. As Scott said, they took him out for a fucking whopper. So, he thinks that means everything. I disagree, because they only went through the drive-through, and that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. So what do you think? Where would you, if they took a quarterback, how would you feel?
I wouldn't hate it, but I'd feel like it would need to go after the fifth.
So you're deep in it. All right. What if it's Hooker? Like Scott said, he brought up a scenario to me. He said, John, what if I came over and gave you a tugger? Would you be more interested in Hooker? And I said, Jesus Christ, maybe.
It doesn't surprise me, John, because it sounds just like Scotty.
It does, actually. I'd have to find it first, John. But you know what I mean. It's like a budgie's tongue. But
hey, there he is. What's up, Scouts? He'd have to find it. Well, let me tell you something. Over here in the United States, buddy, we shave.
Oh, Manscaped's the thing. I tell you, it's the thing. And obviously, we've got the gun show in here now with Keith on show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Hench.
There he is.
But you looking hench. What are you? What are you at now? Hench, yeah, it's a big. It means you're looking big.
Look at those. Look at those. Look at that. I haven't seen that since college, baby. I haven't seen that since college.
He's squeezing that shit up against his.
No way.
That's it, Keith. You got it. Work on the triceps. It makes the biceps.
So you can't see
bigger.
because all the tattoos. You can't see the markings. You can't. The lines. They're there.
There's lines.
Hendon Hooker. So that's an interesting situation.
Very interesting with him. I agree.
Obviously, we know with the injury, he would be sitting out all season anyways. I do feel like, from what I've read, I'm not, it seems like if I'm giving any national analyst any credit, it seems like if Hooker wasn't hurt, he'd have been drafted top 3 pretty easily. Obviously, with his injury, there's the unknown there. I don't know if I would hate the idea, so to speak, but I feel like it wouldn't be worth it to us, only if you had the strategy that banking on Sam Howell, and what you're banking on is, hey, if he has a great season, great, we keep him. We maybe, I wouldn't say solidify our quarterback position, but we're dragging it on for another year, type deal, if that makes any sense. Or if Sam Howell completely stinks it up, right, and our record is terrible, we could be in, top 5 draft pick. If we gain assets in this or in and those assets to move up next year to go out Williams, I kind of run now.
Well said.
This year, this draft assets to possibly use for next year.
I think the key here is that
I can see a very strong draft class.
Almost. We almost got it. Got it.
I think he was talking about Caleb Williams there, wasn't he? Saying that hopefully, if it doesn't work out, we end up with Caleb Williams.
He did. He said something about Williams came out real loud. Okay, so I think that might be what it was.
I think
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. You're right. Yeah.
He's
back. Hey, Keith.
There you go. He's back.
I think that
this is the worst. This is the first time this happened. StreamYard just said, "Go fuck yourself."
It threw you out.
Yeah, and they threw me out. They were like, "Your connection is such shit right now that we're just gonna go ahead and remove you instead of you doing it yourself."
Oh, wait a minute. That's my fault. I have this thing set to moron to keep morons out. So you must have been saying something stupid. And it said fuck that. No, it sounded to us like you were talking about Caleb Williams if we had a bad season.
Yeah, just before my internet cuts out on me. I personally would like to see in this draft maybe we gain some draft stock, so to speak, and not just draft guys to guys, and potentially maybe worst case scenario, Sam Howell has a bad season. We can use that draft stock next season, and possibly move up if we have a late draft pick.
No, he's right about that. There's nothing wrong.
I can't believe it. Nobody could say it quite like he did.
And there's nothing wrong with gaining capital for next season too.
Oh no,
if
something we're not used to doing either.
Exactly. So I don't know if this coaching staff is in the position to be able to do that because they do want to win now. But if they have aspirations of being back here next year, I mean, it's a smart thing to do. Something that we haven't done in. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
Ever. I mean, really, and that's another thing when it comes.
If you're win now, though,
that's what I'm saying.
You can still look at the future. If you're win now and you decide to trade down, I don't think that says you're not win now. And if you do try to trade down, you definitely try to grab some picks for next year too. You try to pile them in there.
This team can definitely win now if the quarterback is competent.
Right. Now, I had something that I was going to say, and trust me, it was really smart and entertaining. But like I always say in the previews, you're going to hear me say I don't remember what the fuck I was going to say. So take it away, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think then is our most underrated? Here's a question for you: what's our most underrated position group at the moment?
Was underrated, like who doesn't get enough talk. I mean, it's got to be the safety position. You know, that position right now, I think, is one of our best positions on the team, and I don't think it gets talked about enough.
No, not nationally anyway, because Chris wouldn't be able to know who the hell Cam Curl was.
That's true.
We call him Cam Curl.
You're probably right about that.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think the place spoke for itself last year, and with the emergence of Derek Forrest and how well he played and how well he meshed with Cam Curl when he finally came back healthy. I think that duo right there can be one of the tops in the league.
The 5th round, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head right now because it's April,
Percy Butler.
5th round pick, Percy Butler.
Yeah,
now, he made some nice plays last year. Sure. He showed a lot of flash.
Especially at the end of the year, he really came on.
They got him out on the field in defense. He was playing well on special teams. I thought he was really good on special teams. He got him out on the field in defense. He made some good plays. I'm going to talk to him because I know he was watching. He's paying attention right now. So Percy, you got to get the attitude in check. I love the extra. I love the freaking effort. But once the whistle blows, you got to get up and get away, because there was 2 times last year where he made nice plays and it almost got thrown out. I mean, I'm like, somebody grab him, and they were grabbing him, pulling him away. Okay, look, you can't do that up at this level. They'll throw that flag on you.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Yam right here. You know, either go big or go home as far as the season goes. And Scouse,
7 to 8 win seasons.
For Scouse's information, we're going to try to have you on our post draft podcast,
right?
So you can come and talk your English gibberish to all of our listeners.
I've just spent an hour and a half with him. What are you talking about? No, he's a good lad. He's a good lad.
Scouse, I tell you what, we definitely want to have you on our post draft show, because we want to hear you not just talk your British shit, but we want to hear what you have to think, man, because it's fun listening. Keith, you back? What do you got? Let's see. We're gonna try Keith again.
Yeah, I hope he's there.
All right. So, what would you consider to be? I mean, now I don't want to say name names or anything like that, but if we came out of that draft with 0 skill position players, no wide receivers, no tight ends, no running backs, nothing, no quarterbacks, nothing like that. If we came out of there, nothing with beef and defensive backs, how happy would you be?
I'd be fine. I'd be perfectly happy with that. You know, I really would be. I think, look, we're going to have to pick up a running back. The loss of J.D. McKissick. I don't think we can really rely on Patterson, although he did have his ups and downs last year. But, I think 5th round or later, pick up a running back. Is he going to be a Bijan Robinson? No, but we have a Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson that I think will do mighty fine in this West Coast offense. Our tight ends, that's another position group that they have a lot to prove, but I think is going to be a surprise this year. I think, especially in this offense, and we know what Eric Bieniemy likes to do with tight ends. They're young. Besides,
back.
Armani Rogers, I think he's going to be great. Yep. And Curtis Hodges, man, the staff loves that guy. He just was not able to get on the field. So I think I expect big things from the tight end room this year. I really
That was my underrated one when we were talking about what's underrated and not being talked about. That was where I was going. I mean, I think we've talked about it ad nauseum here, I think, and Scouse was saying before as well that if you had all these players with all their little fits rolled into one, you'd have an elite player. Now, we're not going to be in the Michael Mayers, the Dalton Kincaids, them sort of players. The guy at Old Dominion, Kuntz, is a very good pick. He's an athletic, high RAS score. I think he was nearly a 10. Very, very athletic.
So what's his name?
Cole Turner was too.
No, the guy. Shit. We had him 2 years ago. All the ladies loved him. Dude from
Samus Reyes.
Yeah, Samus Reyes. Yeah, he scored.
But he never played football.
No,
he never played football. So
I don't expect anything out of him. He was a novelty.
It's a good room for me. It's a good room.
Yeah,
Armani Rogers played really well. He played really well.
I agree. I think you're right. We are going to see a surprise. I mean, it'll be a surprise to those of us that are not paying attention, because we do have a lot of young talent in there, and it is expected to be a downfield talent. We didn't just fill that room up with big fat guys to block. I mean, we got John Bates, but for the most part, Rodgers, I think, is big and rangy. Cole Turner's going to be coming back, and he's the one that we picked in the fifth round last year that everybody was so excited about. He got hurt almost immediately.
I think he's a fourth rounder, John.
Fourth rounder? Very good.
Yeah, I think so.
So there you go. I think that you're right. That's going to be our surprise that's going to come out of there. I would say that we do have somebody calling in real quick. I know he wants to talk to Keith, but he's not there right now. So let me hello,
Jerry.
Hello there, boys. I just wanted to pop on here real quick and tell you that down at cowboyshop.com, we got a draft special coming up. And in honor of your boy Keith over there and his wonderful Wi-Fi, I'm going to say the promo is going to be Dak Scott, a big fat fool. You can get the free 20% off season. And I'm going to right and leave and I'll even let you get a blowjob from the cheerleader.
Jerry, appreciate your time, Jerry.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Oh, Lordy. Lord.
That worked.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did work. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Dude, it's fun fucking around when nobody's listening.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I do have about 2 minutes left because I got to bug out.
Cool.
I got things I got to do this evening. So wrap it up. Go ahead, Jesse. You were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that from the looks of the top 30 visits they had, it's basically all offensive linemen and defensive backs and a couple linebackers. Overshawn, keep an eye on him. Maybe second, third round. I think he's one of the highly touted linebackers in this draft. So I'd be interested to see. I know they liked him. They had a good visit with him. We'll see. It's going to be interesting what this draft, like we've been saying, there's a lot of different directions that this team can go.
I think no matter what, you can guarantee that the fan base will hate whoever they pick. They won't know.
100%.
They'll bitch and they'll scream and they'll holler the whole damn weekend, except for the other ones who think everything's a home run.
Who are you picking then at 16? Last one we'll do before you need to go, John. Who are you picking, Jesse?
Yeah, Joey Porter Jr. if he's there.
Yeah, if we don't trade down, that's what I want to do, Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah,
go with those nitty lines.
I'll take Broderick Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
or Anton Harrison. Either
if they're there, I'm good with that too.
There we go.
It'd be really funny if John Robertson was there and pick him to watch this fan base melt.
This fan base, dude, this fan base is made of sugar. It melts no matter what. It melts no matter what. I'll tell you what, just because I said this fan base is made of sugar, they're all going, we are not made of sugar. What's the matter with you? Anyway, once again, the last opportunity that I'm going to have before the draft to tell everybody out there, this is a public service announcement. Recognize that all of these draft experts don't know fucking jack shit all nothing. All right? You're going to talk about what a great pick. And that was a great pick. Look at that pick right there. And especially at quarterback, when everybody is so convinced that to be a franchise quarterback, you got to be a high pick. They fail so often. Yep. And you got to take that into account. Look at Trey Lance right now. There's rumors this week that they're trying to trade Trey Lance. They spent 4 first-round picks and a third on Trey Lance. And when I say 4, they traded 3 and they used 1 to get him. And he got beat out by the 7th round Mr. Irrelevant. So anybody that ever from now on comes up to me and says, these draft experts, dude, you may as well have fucking honked a horn at me and showed me your big brand new fucking clown shoes. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What about you, Scott? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, we know fans are stupid. And as you said, Yams just said here, he said, I'll only bitch if we get a running back in the first round. 50% of the fan base are going to be unbelievably happy that we get Bijan. And then other 50% of the fan base is going to be like, what are you doing? Yeah. So, we'll wait and see. It's meltdown either way. For me, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be another 1 a.m. till 6:30 a.m. slugfest. But I'll get there. It'll be fine. This time last year, I was in Edinburgh on the piss with a lot of the British Commanders fans, which was awesome. But we got kicked out of the casino with 4 picks to go because they were shutting. So, and that was the only place we could watch it. But, it was...
Where are y'all watching it this year?
We're not getting together. We tried to.
Yeah.
It's just they have bespoke bars and things like that now where they've had NFL shows live on Sky Sports. Tried them. They just wanted too much money, or it was a try and get a seat if you can.
Maybe.
I'm not doing that.
Maybe we do a live cast. Maybe we get together right around pick number 12 and watch the next.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, if I'm at 2 shits to the wind by that time,
it ain't gonna make a damn bit of difference if you
well, I won't.
Your hair will be good. Your beard will be good.
John, it's 3:30. Leave me alone. The wife's moaning at me because I'm too loud.
I don't care who we fucking pig. Shut up.
The kids are at school in the morning.
That's right. Just do it. All right. Well, I got to get on out of here. So it's
I got internet where we're going. So yeah, I should be able to do that.
I will say this for a bunch of guys that really don't give a shit about the draft. We managed to fill up a whole hour talking about it. That's pretty damn good.
Okay, well,
how about that? I hope we
30 minutes was Keith breaking up.
We got to do something. Maybe we could do a GoFundMe to give Keith some Wi-Fi.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
I gotta go next week.
See you later.